Okay, so good day everyone. Okay, um, good day everyone. Our last module, we discussed a lexical and syntactic analysis of a programming languages. So for this recorded discussion, we have to discuss the names, the scopes, and binding one of the um, one we will consider no in the programming languages the names, scopes, bindings of the programming PL. Okay, so um, before that, guys, we have to characterize out a variable. We have to define first a variable. So a variable are characterized by attributes, no? So to design a type of a variable, one must consider the scope, the lifetime, the type checking, the initialization, and the type compatibility. Okay? So again, for naming, a name is a mnemonic character of a string representing something else. Okay? So for example, name is also an identifier that allows us to refer a variable or a constant function types, operation, and so on. No? So, for example, we have sign of F, prog1 or null. No? So, these are, most of the names are also identifiers. Yung identifiers enable the programmers to refer a variable, a constant, again, operation types using identifier names rather than low-level hardware components. These are also mga design issues of names, no? For example, are the names are case sensitive? So, uh, did you recall how many programming languages? What are programming languages? Are case sensitives, no? Um, Another issues in PL in terms of names, is it acceptable or special words are reserved words or keywords? Because there are some variables, like for example, if you will try to use modulus as a variable, since modulus is a part or a keywords, a reserved words from the PL or for example C++, so mag-e-error yung program po natin. Okay? So kailangan you have to familiarize first the keywords, the received words of a certain programming language before you create a code or before you um, assign names or variables. Okay? And also the length, no? We will consider also the names of length of names. Okay? So if too short, they cannot be connotative. Okay? So for example, yung isang language is C99, ang issue niya, no limit, but the first 63 are significant, and the names are limited to maximum of 31. Okay? C99, as a standard of C programming languages. Again, there is no limit of length of identifiers like names. Yan. So, again, first 63 of characters of the identifiers are considered significant, meaning kung yung two identifiers have the same first 63 characters, they are considered the same name. Okay, for external identifiers, the names are visible outside of the resource file. Okay, another example for names, no? Another programming language na example natin is C# and Java. Sabi niya, no limit din based doon sa features ng Java at C Sharp, no limit din, and all the names are significant, are all significant. Okay? So in these languages, since there is no limit sa length niya at identifiers, all characters are identified, and in the identifiers are significant also. So meaning, the entire length of the identifier is also considered when determining its uniqueness. Okay? So yun guys. Another is C++. Okay, ang C++, ito yung standard language, does not specify a limit on the length of identifiers. May mga compiler implementers or mga nag-develop who created the C++ compiler, nag-impose their own system na nag-compose or nag-impose their own limits, no? Itong limits na to, it can vary between different compilers and systems. Another example of programming language ay ang PHP. Diba? Ang PHP, meron tayong special character for naming. Okay? So, ano yung ginagamit natin guys for naming sa PHP? So, first we have to put a $sign before the name. Okay? So, yun yung naming ng PHP. Si Perl, are you familiar with Perl? Ang Perl naman, ang variables niya begin with special character which specify the variable type. Yan. May mga special words siya, si Ruby. They used to delimit and separate statement clauses. Also, ang keyword niya is a word that is special only in a certain context. For example, a reserved word is a special word that cannot be used, no, as a user-defined name. So, yun yung mga issues of names. Sa variable attributes naman, ang name, not all attributes, not all the variables have, no? In terms of memory address, ang memory address associated with a variable associated with memory address. So a variable may have different addresses at different times during execution. Okay? A variable also may have different addresses to different places in a program. So kung dalawang variable names na ginagamit to access the same memory location, ito na yung tinatawag nating aliases, no? Aliases. Like for example, nag-create tayo ng pointers. Diba? Once mag-create tayo ng pointers, nag-reference tayo, ginagamit nyo ng reference variable. So, anong programming language ginagamit dito? We have the C and C++, the unions of C and C++. Okay? So, in terms naman of readability, aliases are harmful, no? Minsan, hindi natin basta-basta mabasa, no? Hindi natin basta-basta ma-memorize yung mga aliases na yon, no? Kailangan mong i-specify. For example, mag-create ka ng pointers dito with the name of, for example, int. Tapos, itong variable. Tapos, siniset mo siya ng pointers or nag-referencing ka ng variable. So, sometimes, we cannot, for example, kung iba namang makakita ng program, hindi siya basta-basta maka-understand, no? So, if hindi siya maka-understand ng code or ng process ng code, so he cannot edit, no? He cannot upgrade or he cannot improve the program. Okay? So, for example, if you are working in a company, then kung aalis ka sa ano mo, kung aalis ka na sa work mo, then you are using aliases. Bali, di ba, last term we are um, learning about programming tools and techniques. So, ito yung tinatawag natin may yung mga programming paradigm, mga programming encoding convention na tinatawag. Okay, so ang aliases is not recommendable, no? Not recommended, no? So, hindi siya recommended sa tawag dito kung mag yung mag-own ka ng ano tapos ipamana mo sa ibang tawag dito, ibang employee o bagong employee, so hindi siya hindi siya tawag dito recommended, no? Okay, next slide. Meron tayong tinatawag na binding. Okay. When we say binding, it is an association between the two things. Ito yung name and the thing it names, no? Like for example, we have the name of an object and the object. Like for example, sa C++, my dog, for example, my underscore dog is equals to body. So the binding between our name and my dog, between the name my dog and the value of body, so the name my dog is used to refer the object string body sa program natin. Another binding is meron tayong pi na constant value, di ba? Constant variable. Si pi, we use aliases dito sa pi din, no? Kasi we can meron tayo si pi, nagli-link siya sa isang library, no? May linker tayo na isang library. We cannot use pi if we will, for example, sa C++, we cannot use pi variable if hindi siya gumamit ng math library. Okay? Yan, pi. So si pi, na-bind siya between the name pi and the value of 3.14 and 15. 3.14, 15, 9. So yung name pi is used to represent the numerical value of the mathematical constant of pi, no? Sa program natin. So for instance, the meaning of the keywords such as while or for in C. So the size of the integer data type in Java are properties defined the language design time. Okay? Ano kaya itong sinasabing language design time? Ang language design time, guys, refers to the period during the fundamental decision about programming language features like ito yung kino-consider the syntax, the semantics, and overall structure ng program. Okay? Ito yung tinatawag na language design times, no? Sa whole period of features ng syntax, semantics, and overall structure. So, during the syntax phase dito, so dito tayo sa during the phase of language design time, ang coder or the language creator, okay, ito yung i-consider niya sa syntax, mag-define siya ng rules kung paano i-code o paano siya isulat or i-code nga, including the structure of the statements, the expression, the declaration, the different syntax of loop, paano siya maglo-loop, paano siya mag-o-object, paano siya, yan. So, kailangan mag-create muna ng design, mag-create muna yung language creator sa syntax using the rules on how to code yung program. Paano siya i-code yung language na ito. Another i-consider niya, di ba, meron tayong syntax. Next is semantics. Okay? So during the language design time, mag-i-establish na rin yung meaning of the various that construct the language that construct within the language, no? So in such as how the operations are performed and how the data are handled and how to control the flow is managed. Okay? Another kino-consider dito sa language design time is yung features. So, as the language creator, you have to decide on the core functionalities of the language that will support, such as object-oriented programming, functional programming, concurrency. Di ba? We are now in concurrency, no, sa parallel natin. So, dealing with a parallel execution or parallel programming or parallel execution type, parallel computing, okay? And memory management. So, kailangan mayroon siyang features ng ganyan. Kung gagawa tayo ng as a language creator during the language design time, no? Yung pwede mong i-consider. Next, we have constraints. So you have to determine any limitation or restrictions that the language will impose, such as the maximum identifier or length ng reserved words or reserved words. Kailangan mong i-determine muna yung mga limitations or restrictions. The last one, we have the libraries and frameworks. Okay? Ito na yung mga libraries, identifying the essential libraries and frameworks that will be included with the language to provide the standard functionality and the common task, support that common task. Okay? So, kailangan mong i-consider din to yung mga magsusupport sa functionality ng programming language. Okay? Ayan. So, a-binding is an association such as between an attribute and the entity or between of the operation and the symbol. So, yung name and memory location for variables, name and function, typically a binding is between the name and the objects. And the object. Okay? So, again, a binding is an association with the association such as between the attribute and the entity or between the operation and the symbol. For example, yung attribute ng entity, attribute an entity. Suppose you have a class car in the object-oriented programming language. So let's try to have this Jupyter nga tayo. Wait lang. Jupyter, try to Jupyter. Jupyter. Try tayo code, guys. Dito sa attribute and entity. So, sa attribute, meron tayong class car. Suppose you have a class car, then meron tayong object-oriented in the object-oriented programming class. So, for example, a class car. Okay, wait lang ha. Open natin si Jupyter. I-implement natin yung object sa Python. So, for example, meron tayo new. So, to define a object, so for example, class car. Then we have define. So we have a parameter, so self book muna. Then we have make or brand na lang, brand model ng car. Ano pa? O kailan siya na create. Ayan, we have 3 parameters. Then we have to create a struct, no? of this. So, self dot make is equals to make. Then we have self. I will not make, it's a brand. Ito yung attribute at entity ha, guys. So, object, tapos yung entity ng that model equals model. In the last one we have self that here equals here. Okay, then let's now get the value. So for example, in-instantiate natin si car. For example, si my car, in-instantiate natin is equals to, we have the object with the value. Like for example, Toyota. And we have an example of Corolla. Tama ba yung spelling? Sige lang. Tapos, pinopurchase, na-create siya in 2024. Okay, so try natin to guys. Oh. So, nag-define tayo ng car. Ayan. Ayan. So, i-print natin, my car. Wait. Okay. For example, my car, that model. Oh. Yeah, I forgot na. Okay. The idea here, guys, I forgot na itong Python. The idea here, bali yung attribute ng brand is Toyota, for example. So, another attribute model is a Corolla. And the attribute here is 2024. So, ito yung attribute and entity. Okay? Okay. Ito yung attribute and entity. Kung operation and symbol naman, for example, mag-define tayo ng um, for example, square root, no? So, ang square function, we have isusulat ko na lang. So, for example, we have define square, no? We have square, define square, and we have a value of x. So, ang ano niya, so you have to multiply x by x, no? Return x. And then, for example, kung gagamitin na natin siya, okay, result for example is equal to square. Yeah. So for example, meron tayong 10. So the square of 10, automatic yan. Ayan. Ba't ayaw niya mag-output? Why? Dapat result lang. Result lang. Dapat meron. Ayan, ito na. Sorry. Okay, ayan guys. We have a operation. Ang operation is nasa function at gumagamit tayo ng symbol. So, ang bindings dito, the square symbol is bound to the operation of the function that calculates the square of a number, at yung bound ng result, the symbol result is bound to the value of 25, value not 25, value of 100. Okay? So that's the example of bindings, no? Again, there are things na pwede consider. We have operation and symbols. Then we have also attributes and entity. Okay? Sa object oriented. Okay. So the scope of binding, no, refers to the specific region or a time frame within the program executions where the binding between a name and its associated entity, such as the variable, the function, and the object, kung valid siya and can be accessed. Essentially, it defines the boundaries within which a particular binding remains active and usable. For example, kung ang variable is declared with a function, so yung scope niya is typically limited to that function only, meaning the variable that can only access and use within the function code block. Okay? So outside that scope, yan, the bounding no, is no longer active. Okay? So kailangan na-define lang yun sa block niya. Like for example, sa loop, yan. Yung block of loop, doon lang yung mga constants, mga variables na ginagamit doon sa loob ng loop, ng block, that's called binding. Kung magbiyat na siya doon sa loop, so the binding is no longer active on that phase. And attempting to the reference and variable would result in an error also. So ang scope ay tutulong na magmamanage ng visibility ng life cycle of bindings. Okay? Ito yung mechanism niya, ensuring that ang name niya ay associated with the entities na ginagamit pag-control at pag-organize ng program, within the program. Okay? Okay. So, The binding time is the point at which binding is created, or more generally, the point at which any implementation decision is made. So the time at which binding takes place is called binding time. Okay? Again, we already discussed what is language design time. What are the things that we have to consider in this phase? So you have to design the specific program that construct the syntax, the primitive types, and the semantics. Okay? So, madali na lang mag-create kung mag-language, mag-create ka ng language, bagong language, so you can use these things, no, that you have to construct. Okay. So, language implementation time. So, yung language implementation time, fixation of implementation, construct such as a numeric precision or maximum identifier or name length or runtime memory sizes. So, yung language implementation time, ito yung phase sa development of a programming language which specific details of how the language will be executed sa hardware that are determined, no? So this includes with various constants and constraints that the language will operate within, no? So for example, numeric precision, meron tayong maximum identifier name length, yung runtime memory sizes. So yun yung mga kino-consider dito sa language implementation time. Okay? So when we name numeric precision, ito yung precision of numerical values that the language can handle. So ito yung magde-decide how many decimal places or a floating point, no, number that have the flowing point number can have the range of values of integers. Kung maximum identifier name length, ito yung maximum length that allows the name of variables, the functions, and other identifiers. Ito yung nag-i-ensure that the language can handle the names of a reasonable length without causing issues during the compilation or execution time. Okay, so ang runtime memory sizes. So the amount of memory allocated for the various data structure and operations runtime. Ito yung sinasama yung mga size of stacks, yung heap memory management na ito, guys, ha. So sa parallel natin, meron tayong memory management and other memory regions used language during execution. Okay. Programming time or program writing time, ito yung phase when a programmer is actively writing a code to solve a specific program or build an application. So during this time, the programmers makes critical decisions regarding the choice of the algorithm and data structure to efficiently achieve their goals. Okay, so ito yung program writing time. So, do you know what is compile time, guys? So, yung compile time is the phase when the source code within the high-level programming language it translate into machine code by the compiler. So, during this phase, the compiler now performs various tasks such as the syntax checking, yung type checking, optimization, determining the memory layout for the objects. Okay? So, ayan, guys. So, during the compilation time, the compiler performs two tasks, no? We have the translation of the high-level construct to machine codes. So, this compiler translate the high-level constructs such as the class, the definition, class definition, the function, the variable declaration into the machine code that can executed by the central processing unit or CPU. Another is the choice of memory layout or objects. Again, kanina, translation of high-level constructs to machine code. Number 2, the choice of memory layout for objects. So, ang compiler dito determines the memory layout for objects. For example, it decides how much the memory is allocated for the person class. Okay, for the object, for person class, including the name and the age, or any attributes, no? And how these attributes are arranged, no, in the memory. So, during this task, guys, ito yung mga steps na pwede siyang i-consider din. Okay? Lexical analysis, syntax analysis, semantic analysis, the optimization, the code generation, memory layout determination. Okay? Take note, guys, ha? Dito sa compile time, ha? Ito yung mga consideration. Una, there are 2 tasks na pwede siyang i-consider during the compilation time. Ito yung ipi-perform dapat ng compiler. Una, ang ipi-perform niya is translation of high-level construct to machine code. Number 2, choice of memory layout for objects. And what are the steps? Number 1, we have the lexical analysis. Number 2, syntactic analysis. Number 3, semantic analysis. Number 4, optimization. Number 5, code generation. 6, memory layout determination. Okay? Okay. Next, we have the link time. So, naalala nyo pa ba yung tinuro ko paano mag-link ng object? Yung tinuro ko doon sa board. Maybe parang start ng ating class or start discussion natin. If you still remember. So, if naalala nyo pa, guys, try to message me later once you already watch this. Okay, so next we have the link time. Ito yung phase na multiple object code files like machine code files and libraries are combined into a single executable file. So, for example, yung main process is performed by a tool like linker. So, for example, meron tayong program ng main.cpp. Ang laman ng ating main.cpp ay, for example, include IOStream. We have include math, for example, yung mga files natin, no? File handling na to. Meron tayong ginawa ng math_utility.h, for example, utils.h. So sa main program, for example, you have to add the value of the 2 variables a and b. Then you are creating a function of add ab. Okay. So for example, that one. Then sa math utilities, instead of dito sa main natin, instead of using the operators, so dito sa math.util.h, dito na tayo magawa ng operation. Like for example, yung int add, so parameter natin doon sa add natin, the first parameter is a, so kailangan dito sa math.utils is int a. Then, we have the b, we have int b. Then, sa laman ng function na to, nandun yung operation. Like, return a plus b. Okay? So, now, since the 2 files is already created, ililink na po natin. So, each source file is compiled separately. So, ito na yung mag-create ng object code file. Have you tried also, guys, once you run a CPP file, then makikita nyo doon na makapag-create siya ng executable file or .o file. Okay, yun yung object code file, guys. Okay? Once you run the program. Okay? So ito yung phase sa link time. How about load time? Ito yung phase kung ang operating system loads executable program sa memory and i-prepare for execution. So during this time, various decisions are made. For example, um, choosing the physical addresses where the program and its data are resides in the memory. For example, imagine you have a compiled program called example.exe. Then when you double click on it sa executable file, then you run it. So the operating system now perform the following steps. Number one, loading the executable. So in this phase, ang operating system nagbabasa siya kung the contents of the example.exe from the storage device or like for example hard disk or SSD, ilo-load niya doon sa ating RAM or random access memory. Ito yung phase na to, ikakopy niya yung program code, data, and other necessary libraries sa memory. And then, number 2, pipili na yung program, no, of physical addresses. So, yung operating system magdi-determine na kung sa physical address sa RAM where the program code and data is placed. So, ito yung crucial, no, for the program execution because it ensures all the references to the variable functions and other resources point kailangan correct location sa memory. For instance, for example, yung example.exe kanina, gumagamit na siya ng 1 megabyte sa RAM. So the operating system might allocate memory starting address of yung memory address niya is 0x110000. So for the program code and address, for example, 0x101000 for its data. Okay? So ito yung load time. Okay, for runtime, ito yung period when the program is actively executing the running on the computer. So during this time, the program performs the task operation defined by its code. Okay? So for example define, susulat ko dito sa may text box, okay? Para mas maintindihan pa. Notepad po tayo, notepad. Jupyter na lang. For example, where is now the Jupyter? Ayan. Ulit. Ayan. So, dito, for example, define add numbers tapos A and B. Okay, so then return, ito yung example kanina din, A plus B. And then for example, meron tayong num1 is equals to 5 and num2 is equals to 7. And then resolve, di-discuss ko to guys num2. Okay, so i-print natin. Print lagyan natin ng F. F para maka-insert tayo ng brace. Num1 and then num2 tapos is result. Okay, Oh, wala yung equals. Ayan. Oh, ay pala. Okay. So, kung i-run nyo po yung program na to, so ito yung steps no during the runtime. Of course, the program starts executing, no? So, the function call now add numbers with the argument of the num15 and num27. So now, the function calculates the sum of the num2 and num1, which is 12. So now, the 12 is stored sa variable result. So, yung program prints the output, which is the sum of 5 and 7 is 12. So, during this entire process, from the program starts to the completion of its task, i-consider niya yung runtime. No? The program uses the computer resources such as CPU and memory para i-perform niya at it can produce the desired output. Okay? So, yun yung idea, no, ng runtime. Okay? Okay. So, sa binding time sample, ito yung features. Yan, yung syntax, yung keywords, reserved words, meaning of the operators, the primitive data types, the internal representations of the literals, mga specific types of variable, no? So, ito yung mga specific binding time niya. Like example, language design, language implementation, and compile time. Okay? So, yan. Another, we have the linker, loader, runtime. Ang storage allocation method for variable, ito yung language design niya, language implementation, and compile time. Okay? So, sa static and dynamic, ito yung ginagamit to used to refer the things bound before the runtime and at the runtime at before runtime. Okay? Okay. Okay, so binding static, it occurs before the runtime and remains unchanged throughout the program execution. Kung static again, to the type that may specified by either explicit, no? Pino-consider siyang specified siya either again ang static binding static kung ang itong type na to ay nag-specify either implicit or explicit declaration. Okay? Kung when we say implicit, ang explicit is the declaration of a program statement used in declaring the types of variable. Kung implicit naman, implicit declaration is the default mechanism for specifying data types or the types of variable through the default convention rather than declaration the statement. Ito yung mga example sa basic, Perl, Ruby, JavaScript, PHP. Ito yung nagpo-provide ng mga implicit declaration. So, itong implicit declaration, guys, ang advantage niya is writability. Meron siyang mga minor convenience. Ang disadvantage naman niya ang reliability. So, meaning less trouble with less trouble siya. So, some of the language use type inferencing to determine the type of variables. Yan. So, for example, sa C#, ang variable can declared with a var and an initial value. So, the initial value sets the type. Okay? So, how about dynamic binding? Okay. When we see dynamic binding, it occurs during runtime or change the course of the program execution. Okay? So, for example, sa dynamic type binding sa JavaScript, si Python, si Ruby, PHP, and C Sharp. Specified through the assignment statement, like for example, sa JavaScript, ang list is equals to um, square brace 2, 4.3, and 6.8. Then, i-update siya, magiging list is equals to 17.3. Okay? Ayan. So, in general, the early binding times are associated with the greater efficiency. Later binding times are associated with greater flexibility. Compiled languages tend to have an early binding times. Interpreted languages tend to have a later binding times. Then today, we talk about the binding and identifier to a variable name. Okay, so again, importance of binding. Ang meron tayong early binding. Sa early binding is ito yung type of static binding. It occurs at a compile time, meaning the association between the names and their corresponding values or operations are determined before the program runs. Okay, so ang advantage niya is a faster code, also efficiency. Yan. So typical compiled language are language like C++ and C. The Java use early bindings. So these languages compile the source code into machine code before execution. So it ensures the bindings that resolve ahead of time. Kung late binding naman, this is also called dynamic binding. It occurs at runtime. Kanina, it occurs ang early binding, it occurs, ano ba yun? During compilation. Dito, sa late binding, runtime. Meaning, the association between the names and their corresponding values or operations are determined while the program is running. So, yung advantage dito is a greater flexibility at adaptability. Okay? Typical na mga interpreted languages like Python, Ruby, JavaScript, ito yung gumagamit ng late binding. So, this language interpret the source code at runtime, allowing the dynamic resolution of bindings. So, ang scope rules, no? Ito yung nagko-control ng bindings. It's fundamental to all programming language is ability to name data, to refer the data using symbolic identifiers rather than addresses. Okay? Not all the data is named. For example, dynamic storage in C or Pascal is referenced by pointers, not names. Okay? So an object has to be stored in a memory during its lifetime, no? Static object, yan. Static object, sample execution program is global variables, subroutine code, last method. Ang heap object, stack objects also, yan. Okay. So, yan. Punta tayo sa So, yung iba, na lang. Pwede yung tapos key events. Sa ito yung key events. Okay. Ito yung key events using lifetime and storage management. Okay. So, una, creation of object. So, alam natin ito pag-create ng object. Yung process niya is to allocate memory and initializing the instance of class or data structure. Example kanina yung model at saka yung brand, no? Sa Python na ginawa ko kanina, creation bindings. For example, value of pi is equals to 3.481569. Reference to variables. Ang reference to variables, kung ito yung gumagamit din ng binding, i-access niya during the value or object associated with the variable name. Next, we have the temporary deactivation or deactivation of bindings. So, it is a process of temporarily disabling the association between the name and its value. Okay? Then, reactivation of bindings. Ito yung process na mag-re-enabling previous deactivated binding. Like, for example, Python is equals, for example, x is equals to 10. Then, define the scope test, for example, function. Global x is equals to 5. So, meaning, inactivate ulit natin yung value ng x, but we have the different number, different value. So, ito yung ni-reactivate natin yung global binding, at tapos yung ipiprint natin yung value ng x. Okay? How about destruction of bindings? Ito yung i-delete mo yung value ng y. For example, y is equals to 5, then delete y. So, ito yung tinatawag na destruction of bindings between the y and its value. So, once you print the y, since you del y na, would result an error because y is no longer defined. Destruction of objects, for example, plus car, define, then print. So if we instantiate, for example, my car is equals to car, then if we have to destruct it, destruct object, just type del, then my car. So, yun. The next we have is storage allocation mechanism. Okay? So, ano ibig sabihin ng storage allocation mechanism? Ito yung static allocation involves reserving the memory for variables and data during compile time. So, mga memory address for these variables are fixed and do not change during the program execution. Okay? Yan. Okay. Okay, papalik-balik na itong mga ano na to. Okay, scope rules. Okay, yung scope is a maximal region, no, of the program where no bindings are destroyed. For instance, the body of the procedures in many programming languages. So, yan. So, with the function, creation of bindings of new local variable, for example, mga reference to variables. So, ang scope is an example is the body to calculate the area of the function, for example. So, when the function is called, a new scope is open. Okay? Ayan. So, example of static and dynamic, no? Ayan. So, yan, pabalik-balik na lang yung slides. Overloading of overloading, some loading happens in almost all programming language. Okay, so for example, integer, yan. Ito yung example of overloading. Okay. So, I want you to, ano guys, so we are done with module 3. So I'll check our, if you have question, just email me or chat me in the Teams. So I will upload tonight this video, and so maybe this coming Wednesday for TN36 Wednesday, maybe we will discuss last topic for midterm period. Try ko lang guys sa dashboard. For TN36 Wednesday, we will discuss about roll-up semantics. Okay? Roll-up semantics this coming Wednesday, February 5. Then, sa February 8, Saturday, wait lang. Our midterm exam will be for TN36 midterm exam will be February 12. Okay. Then our summative will be Saturday, February 8. Yeah, February 8. For TN 37, for TN 37, ayan. So, our summative by Wednesday, by Wednesday, wala naman kayong klaseng Wednesday, Thursday, at saka Saturday lang. So, by Thursday, no? By Thursday, we will discuss roll-up semantics. Yan. Then, summative to Saturday, and Thursday is your midterm exam. Okay? Thursday to Thursday dapat. Ayan. Okay. I think that's all. Good luck, guys.